It's time for the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX. On your radio at AM 940 and online at mywithersradio.com. Recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the premier radio feature programs in the state. You're about to roam the region with more guests and content courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. Live from the Powerhouse, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
And good morning. Glad to have you with us on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX and WMIXsports.com. Hope your Thanksgiving was great. Hope the basketball you witnessed was even better. Some better, more better. Not even really a superlative, but some was better than others, I guess, over the course of this past week. Plenty of Thanksgiving tournaments got underway, but still plenty more basketball to come as we preview with some more coaches today. Of course, we'll talk with Scott Gamber about his team's 2-2 performance at the Pyramid Plus tournament in Marion. We'll actually slip in Sean Docherty, head coach of the Mountford and Rams. They got their start in wrestling action against Belleville East. I believe it was on Tuesday. Got a big team win over Belleville East this past week. We'll talk with Doc about that. Brian Gamber, his team is in the championship game tonight at the Christopher Thanksgiving tournament. We'll talk with Coach Gamber about his Waltonville Spartans performance over the course of this past week. Then we'll preview basketball seasons with Shane Witzel, head coach of the state champion Woodlawn Cardinals. Keith Welch, head coach of the Hamilton County Foxes, joins us. John Kraus will join us to talk about the Okawville Rockets and the Okawville post-Thanksgiving tournament coming up this next week. And we'll talk a little bit about that new beautiful gym they have there in Washington County. Ron Winemiller, head coach of the Benton Rangers, will join us as well. We'll talk about his team's move to the new Goreville post-Thanksgiving tournament. Of course, they were in DuQuoin for many a years, the Benton Rangers. Jeff Lonnon, head coach of the Mountford and Lady Rams, will join us. We'll talk about his team's 3-0 performance thus far in the Nashville Thanksgiving tournament. Lady Rams, yes, 3-0. They will play Nashville tonight for the tournament championship at 8 o'clock as the Lady Rams breezed through pool play with wins over Okawville, Mascoutah, and Freeburg. We'll talk to plenty of those and more. We'll have a look at many of your scores from around the region last night. Of course, you can find out all of that information on WMIXsports.com. So regardless of how you may be accessing us, we're glad to have you with us this morning. Full house studio. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski, Mike Richardson, Jeff Crow, all loaded into the studios of WMIX 940. Again, online at WMIXsports.com. It's our new website. We've hoped you checked it out. Of course, the sports show today appears courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
There we have it. Probably thought I was going to forget to slip that in there, but there it is. 11 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour and plenty of action, plenty of scores to report from last night. Also, plenty of rants possibly coming your way a little bit later on as we've witnessed a multitude of tournaments, and we think we have some solutions on how to fix the possibility of too many tournaments. Are there too many tournaments? That is something.
Yes.
There you have it. We're not even going to hold back yet
no
early in the 8 o'clock hour.
It's kind of – there's no argument. There's too many.
Well, but here's a problem you run into
many.
before we look at scores. Here is a problem that we've run into. We have way too many tournaments, but yet for a 3A school in Southern Illinois, not very many – you know what?
You'll never have options.
No good tournaments to go to. No good options.
You'll never have options.
Yeah, and that's the problem with 3A or 4A this close in this area. We've all talked about it before. It's just reality. The South 7 Conference is basically the conference in Southern Illinois for that, and it's been tough to try to get something to appease that group of people to play early. But now, you know, we're dodging around it. But in the Class 1A, 2A, whatever, gosh dang, these things are just popping up all over the place, and we totally understand reasons for it. I mean, it's a financial gain, and it's also playing games on your own court. But where we have the problems is, and we've talked about this many, many times. Actually, Danny's even put a list together of a couple we've talked about. But the main thing is, if you're in a conference, and we talked about conference tournaments, and now you're basically keeping this thing geographically for a turkey tournament. I don't understand why you would want to play each other 3, possibly 4, possibly a 5 time in postseason. I just don't understand scheduling like that.
Well, and definitely a rant that deserves more time. We'll look at that a little bit later on in the 9 o'clock hour as we recap some of the Thanksgiving tournaments that have taken place already. But a list together not only of tournaments in the area, but a list of reasons that tournaments should not happen or that would make you ineligible to have a tournament. It's all coming up on the Saturday Sports Show.
Something's got to be done. I mean, you know, there's 30 teams in the South 7 River and Black Diamond, and 21 of them host a tournament during the year. That's something's up there. It's like I compare this to back in the late 80s, early 90s. People remember the shootout craze. Mm-hmm. Everybody had a shootout. or not everybody had a shootout. You know, Benton, Frankfort, Centralia, and used to always have big shootouts. And Salem used to always have big shootouts. That was the ones everybody went to. All of a sudden, in the mid and late 90s, early 2000s, everybody started having a shootout. If you had a team, didn't have to be good, go to a shootout. Everybody was having one. Now those are kind of fading away. And this is kind of what I think the tournaments are going to do. A few people had them. Everybody wanted one. Now they're going to start fading out the same way eventually over the next 5 to 10 years.
It seemed like the shootout bubble popped probably in about 2007. And the one that really, I think, jumped the shark was Riverton. Having Nashville and T-Town, and what ended up being a preview of a state quarterfinal game up at Peoria. And then after that, it was just tough to live up to that hype. I know for them, they made some changes in their administration. That shootout's certainly not as strong statewide as it once was. I know it's still a big deal to many up there in the Springfield area. But then you look around at the ones that have come and gone since then. Some still growing, and some actually have gotten better over the course of the past 5 years since then. But not to the scale they need to be to warrant having so many of them, and same with tournaments. Of course, we had plenty of basketball action this week, a lot of games last night. We need to take a look at your WMIX scoreboard here as we preface that. You'll keep up to date on all the scores always on WMIXsports.com. We always have them on Twitter as well throughout the games at WMIX Sports. You can follow us there, and we still do post our scoreboard on Facebook. WMIX Sports. Let's take a look at the scores from last night.
Football last night, 1A, Aurora Forsyth beat Stockton 48-24. In 2A, Aledo beat Altha 14-7. Aurora Christian repeats like Aurora Forsyth, beating Colonial Unity in 3A 42-12. And Rochester three-peats, beating Rock Island Alamon 43-18. High school boys at Marion, of course, Mount Vernon lost in double overtime 41-36 to Collinsville. And Marion in the late game beat Heron 70-56. At Christopher, ZR beat Weber Township 54-52, and Egyptian beat Thompsonville 54-36. At Centralia, Mascoutah beat Jerseyville 43-39, and Centralia beat Muhammad Seymour 59-55. Carbondale goes to 2-0 at Quincy, beating Algonquin Jacobs 66-51. At Waterloo, Edwardsville beat Highland 66-40, and Waterloo beat Mater Dei 43-41. Big win for Waterloo. At Lincoln, Cahokia beat Danville 72-50. At Effingham St. Anthony, Mount Zion beat Mattoon 65-52. Charleston beat Althoff. Of course, they were shorthanded this week, 62-54. Robinson over Breeze Central in the battle of previous past and recent years state champions, 59-50. And Effingham won the Battle of Effingham, beating St. Anthony 72-50. At the Capital Classic, Neoga over Lawrenceville 55-48. Olney over Red Hill 43-40. Pinckneyville on a last-second 3 beats Marshall 38-36. T-Town over Fairfield 73-33. Marcia beat Neoga at 72-23. T-Town beat Olney 54-40. Pinckneyville over Lawrenceville 62-30. Fairfield over Red Hill 55-30. At Lebanon last night, Nashville beat Westland 62-52 to open their season. High school girls last night, ZRC beat Pinckneyville 56-50, and Hamilton County beat Fairfield 49-31. At Harrisburg, it was Harrisburg over Frankfort 67-20, and at Nashville Tournament, Mount Vernon beat Mascoutah 67-42 and Freeburg 63-39. Nashville beat Massac County 44-27 and Collinsville 48-21.
There you have it. A look at your scores from last night. Again, you can find all of those on WMIXsports.com. Also capable to find those on your smartphone as well. Saturday Sports Show, plenty more to come here this afternoon, this morning. Actually, nowhere near afternoon. Maybe just wishful thinking. We need to catch up with Mount Vernon Rams head coach Scott Gamber. His team lost in double overtime last night to Collinsville by a final of 41-36. You heard it here on WMIX. You watched it online at WMIXsports.com. We'll talk with Scotty Gamber after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Attention all Medicare Part D pharmacy patients. The annual enrollment period begins earlier this year, October 15th, and ends December 7th. And the Medicine Shop Pharmacy is ready to help you. Stop by or call to make an appointment with Eric Black or Tracy Adams. They'll review your current prescription plan and help you manage your Medicare dollars. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
What we offer to our patients is to sit down with them and answer questions that they may have about their medications, really with the end goal of being to maximize their dollars, because that's, after all, what patients really want. We'll take appointments, we'll sit down with them, take as long as it takes to help them choose a plan that is effective at meeting their needs.
Remember, the good folks at the Medicine Shop Pharmacy are never too busy to take care of you. They look forward to understanding your healthcare needs and will focus on keeping you well. The Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
To call to make an appointment, call 618-242-8776.
The tradition of fine vehicles and great service continues at Second Chance Auto. They've been providing quality cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs for families like yours for over 32 years, and many are priced under $10,000. Plus, most have a 3-month or 3,000-mile warranty. Bank rate financing available with instant approval. No gimmicks, no pressure, just honest deals on great vehicles from your friends and neighbors at Second Chance Auto, living and contributing back to the community they serve. Located on Route 142 East in Mount Vernon, or call 244-4582.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson. Jeff Crow with us in studio as well. Presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Glad to have you. Of course, glad to have Mount Vernon Rams head coach Scott Gamber. His team finishes the Pyramid Plus tournament with a record of 2-2. Of course, they got wins on Monday night. They defeated the Heron Tigers. Wednesday, they defeated Salem. They fell to Marion on Tuesday and then fell to Collinsville in double overtime last night. We welcome Scott Gamber. Scott, good morning. Scott is not with us at the moment. We'll take care of that and catch up with Scott Gamber here in just a moment. But the Rams had a busy week at the Pyramid Plus tournament at Cuss Wilson Gymnasium. Thought they looked impressive at times. There were times the offense was a wee bit sluggish, but outside of that, the Rams were able to come away with 2 victories, a 500 record out of the tournament. You probably couldn't ask for much more. We're joined by Scott Gamber now here on the Saturday Sports Show. Scott, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys doing?
You know, pretty good. I know you're probably a little disappointed. We talked about it in the postgame show last night, probably somewhat disappointed, losing it in double overtime last night. But you said the one thing you weren't disappointed about was their effort. And I thought the kids gave a heck of an effort last night, given it they're all down by 6 and what felt like more like a 20-point deficit, with Collinsville holding the ball for about 4 minutes there in the second half. But all in all, great effort by the Rams and something they can definitely learn from.
Yeah, and, you know, probably more disappointed this morning than last night. I think when you go back and you watch it, and you, especially in that first overtime, when you see 2 really good opportunities, and then a third, to where if you do one more thing right, you get a in a lead 23 for any circumstance, and we left 23, and he hits the 3. And, so that's you know, a frustrating thing that we had the chances to win and just couldn't finish it out.
With that being the case, where now you don't have to play today, and you get a day, and then you get 4 to practice days next week, how much is the difference for you and your team to have this day to practice rather than getting ready for that 5th game down at Marion tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be playing the 5th game tonight for sure, but it is nice that we're going to be able to practice this morning, start preparing for Centralia, and not just preparing for Centralia, but we've not had a lot of time this week to work on, you know, our stuff and fix the stuff there. We got a little bit of that. You know, yesterday we got to practice before our game, but still couldn't do everything we wanted to because you don't want to wear your guys down. But it is going to be nice today to be able to work on all those things we've been struggling with, start preparing for Centralia. I know it's only 4 games in the season. I hope we're not having the conversation a lot this year where we say, we played hard, we did some good things, but we came up short, because you know, we've said that out of both losses, you could say that, you know, played all right, had chances to win, but just didn't get it done. And I think if we're not going to have that conversation a lot, we've got to improve our free throw shooting, because 4 of 14 in a double overtime game, you're not going to win any of those double overtime games. Against Marion, we were, 10 of 23, 10 of 24. You're not going to win any tight games doing that. And that's something that we as coaches have to work on. We have to spend more time in practice. You need to come in the mornings and do it, and then we need to really work on form on a couple of guys. Some of the guys it's just missing, some of the guys it's form.
From here, as you mentioned, Centralia next Friday night to begin South 7 conference play. I look at the first third of the season now. 5 of your next 7 are at home at Chagnon Gymnasium. I know you have some returning starters, some guys of varsity experience, but realistically, a lot of guys that haven't played under the bright lights of a varsity situation. With 5 home games out of 7 coming up, how important will that be as far as the growth of your team heading into that next tournament, holiday tournament at Centralia?
Yeah, that's nice. You know, we have 9 home games this year. That's by far the most I can remember since being here. So that's nice. And our front end of the schedule is very, overloaded as far as we have a ton of games early in the year and a ton of them being at home. So that's good. What's tough is we've got some tough opponents at home. And Centralia obviously is playing very, very well right now, and then Cahokia is obviously playing very, very well right now. We have both those games at home, but those are tough basketball games. And, I thought our kids did a nice job in the second half last night, being a little more patient, getting a better shot. I thought our defense was a lot improved. And what I thought was good for preparing for Centralia is, Collinsville took away a lot of our sets, like Centralia is going to do. Collinsville has the size inside that we couldn't get to the basket. And then one thing, too, is the thing that worried me so much about Centralia is, the other night they put up 12 threes. When you're a good enough shooting team to hit 12 threes and 5 of them from your center, that's a problem. And last night I think it helped a little bit. Play Collinsville. Collinsville's a team that can really shoot the basketball. So I hope those things all are going to help coming into our conference season.
Well, you certainly take a look at the conference teams and where they have performed. Carbondale has done a great job up there at Quincy, getting a few wins. Cahokia at Lincoln has performed very well. Marion with a new coaching staff and things changing fundamentally down there. It is going to be a tough South 7 conference this year. And taking a look at the teams coming in, it's certainly no favors with playing Centralia right out of the gate. As you mentioned, going to take you out of your sets just like similar to Collinsville. But then I look at a tough road game on December the 7th against Althoff. They are just now going to be getting some of their football players back, so really no idea what's going to happen on December 7th when you take the road to hit Althoff.
Yeah, that's, Althoff would have to really, really worry people right now because, they're 2-1 playing without 4 starters. And if you took 4 starters away from any other team, I don't know if we could be 4. I don't know if they could be 2-1. They've shown a lot being able to win without those guys. Those guys are going to give them a big spark. And I know Coach Lee was really happy and excited with his group of guys that he's going to have this year. And I think that as far as from a balance standpoint and a talent standpoint, this is one of the better years of our conference because you got Cahokia, who went 9-1 last year, returns almost everybody. Centralia, who won a regional, went to the sectional last year. They return 4 out of 5 starters. Carbondale returns practically everybody from their team. Marion returns almost everybody from their team on top of getting the kid from Murfreesboro that's 6'4" that killed us at Marion. It's going to be, you cannot look at one game in our league this year that we should say, yeah, we should win that. It's a tough league.
Well, tough league nonetheless. And speaking of things that are tough, that brings us to our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. Obviously, as a coach, you're busy this time of year. We know it's tough for you to get your Christmas shopping started. But what we want to know from everybody today is, when do you actually start your Christmas shopping?
Not for a couple of weeks, probably.
You more of a last-minute type of guy?
Yeah, whenever we have a Sunday off that we didn't play on a Saturday, usually try to do that. I thought about doing it tomorrow, but I'll probably wait a couple weeks. The nice thing about our schedule is we don't play on a whole lot of Saturdays, so you can practice in the morning and go shop in the afternoon, and then hopefully find a game over there to scout in the evening.
That's well thought out.
That's not a bad plan, actually.
Somebody's
you
done
survive
this
the
before.
massive humanity in a mall and then go to a ball game. It's a pretty good plan on your part.
Thank you.
Scott, but obviously it was a busy week this week. I know it's going to be a busy one in preparation of the Centralia Orphans Friday night. Best of luck, as always, to the Mount Vernon Rams. We'll see you Friday.
All right, thanks a lot.
That's Scott Gamber, head coach of the Rams. Of course, 2-2. They finished the Pyramid Plus tournament in Marion. Wins over Salem and Heron. Close losses, of course, to Marion and a double overtime thriller against Collinsville last night. You heard them on WMIX FM. You watched them online at WMIXsports.com. Our next guest coming up here in just a moment after the break will be Sean Docherty. His Mount Vernon Rams wrestlers got a massive season opening win over the Belleville East Lancers on Tuesday night at home. Their next match will actually be a triangular, I believe, on Tuesday between Muscuda and Cahokia at Muscuda. That'll be another tough test for your Rams. We'll talk with Sean Docherty about it next here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Hi, this is Nina Reitnauer, Relationship Banker with People's National Bank in Mount Vernon. People's National Bank is focused on providing the best possible customer service and products to meet the needs of our customers. If you aren't receiving the products and services you desire, maybe it's time to make a change. Change the name of your bank for the last time and make the switch to People's National Bank.
People's National Bank, serving Southern Illinois since 1909. Member FDIC, wireless carrier fees may apply.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports, Facebook in the same locale. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski and Mike Richardson in studio. Jeff Crow is with us as well. Courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Very privileged to welcome Sean Docherty to the Saturday Sports Show. His team 1-0 on the year. Big win over the Belleville East Lancers, 39-36 on Tuesday at home. They open up the season in a big way. Coach Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
You know, doing pretty good, but you guys got a huge win over Belleville East. At least I consider that to be a big win. Anytime you can open your season with a win, especially over a team the caliber of Belleville East, got to be pretty proud.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that was one of those where I thought we had a good shot coming in. And, as the meet progressed, my hopes kind of started to wane a little bit there, but then the kids just turned it up a notch and did what they had to get done, and it's just a great team victory.
From a wrestling perspective, we talk about other sports where it takes so many games for kids to get in game condition. About how many matches during a season does it take for a wrestler to get in match shape, as they would say?
Oh, I'll to be honest with you, it depends on the kid, but on average, we're looking at probably halfway through the season, it seems like, because it was hilarious. The first week of practice, we're sitting there, and I've got some of my football kids, that I know we work hard all football season, and they're sitting there over in the corner panting, dying over there, and I'm like, I thought you guys were in shape. And they're like, yeah, right. Yeah, we'll get in wrestling shape here in a minute.
Well, and that's the difference. Yeah, and that's the difference because in football, you go hard for a few seconds, you get 30, 45 seconds off, and you go hard again. Wrestling is a constant thing, and that goes into all the conditioning that people don't understand and realize that wrestlers go through to get themselves in shape to wrestle matches.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you've got 2-minute periods, you could go 6 minutes, and people go, oh, that's not bad. That's not that long a time until you get out there and do it, and then it's like, oh, my gosh, I can't, it's like, is the time done yet? Are we almost finished? It is rough.
Of course, the Rams certainly have one of the tougher schedules in every sport, but especially in wrestling. You guys don't hide from anybody. You don't run from anybody. Beverly East to start the season Tuesday night. You go to Mascoutah, I believe, for a triangular with Mascoutah and Cahokia, who's always tough. Really, you have a tough schedule, but it seems to be what prepares your team for the postseason.
Right, and that's what I always tell the guys, too, is that all the matches, all the tournaments, everything we do is just practice. It's just getting you better because, unlike football where you've got to win so many games just to get into the playoffs, like I told you, you could be 0-for. And regional time, I'm putting you in the lineup for regionals, and you've got a shot to make it. But you've got to work really hard all year long. And, yeah, our schedule is one of the tougher ones. I've tried to add better teams as we go along. This year I kind of got a little crazy, I think. Matter of fact, at Mascoutah Tuesday, Mascoutah coach emailed me and said, hey, we added O'Fallon. Is that all right? I'm like, yeah, sure. That sounds great. They're always a top-notch team. Cahokia is going to be tough. Mascoutah is going to be tough. They don't have a whole lot of experienced kids, not a whole lot of seniors, but, they've got tough kids in that program. So, I mean, and my kids are sitting there going, let's go. Let's see what we can do. And that's what I want to see out of them.
Speaking of your kids, obviously there's a lot of names from last year that have returned. The Vosbergs, of course, always going to get a lot of ink on the wrestling circuit. Who are some of the kids that you're depending on in the various weight classes?
Well, yeah, Chase and Alex, obviously, there are 2 of our 3 captains this year. They're strong for us in the middle. It's one of those whenever you go into a dual meet or a tournament, you're always expecting them to win. Quentin Favors at 120 pounds, he's another one of our captains that whenever, we expect good things out of him. We expect him to win. And on those off chances that he doesn't, it's almost I hate to say it, but it's a shock to the coach. Oh, well, guess that guy was better. I don't know. We've got, up and down the line, we've got kids that have had anywhere from no experience to kids that have been with our program for this is their 4th year. Justin Armstrong at 285. He's been with us for a couple of years now, and he's doing pretty good. Tristan Penrod, who is a Lions Club kid, came out of that program. He's at 220 right now. Probably dropped to 195 in December. He's a tough-nosed kid. As a matter of fact, against Belleville East, he got a 14-second pin. So that's pretty impressive in a varsity match. I don't care who you're wrestling. At 195 right now, probably dropping to 182 will be Alex Hopkins, another Lions Club kid. Didn't live in district his freshman year, so he couldn't wrestle, but they moved back into district, so he can wrestle for us. So I'm really glad to have him. I'm going down the weights, so it's taking me a minute. Michael Gray, we got him back. He took a year off. He's wrestling 138 right now. He'll probably drop to 132. He's just an awesome kid to be around. Jacob Williamson, another football kid, just hard-nosed, just a competitor. He'll be in probably around 138. Let's see here. We got another kid that used to wrestle Lions Club for us, Kalen Roberts. He was kind of like Alex Hopkins, didn't live in district, and we missed him, and his dad finally moved back into district, so he's one of our tough 106s. And one of the kids that did really good for us with 2 weeks of wrestling experience, Josiah Fitzgerald. He's another 106, but I think he's going to push Kalen all year. But he was one of them that helped us win Tuesday night. And there are a lot of other kids that I've got that are first and second year kids that I don't think they realize it yet, but we're expecting a lot out of them, expecting them to improve. and help out our lineup a lot, because we've got a lot of dual meets this year. And like I told the JV kids, I was like, you're going to be getting a lot of varsity dual meets, so you better pick it up fast.
Looking at your conference, I talked about your non-conference schedule a little bit, but the conference as a whole, your prediction or picks as far as favorites for the South 7 Conference this year?
I think it's wide open again. I mean, that's the thing at this point in time. I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't even know how my team's going to do, let alone everybody else's. I know Carbondale had a bad outing against Collinsville the other night, but it's so early in the season. You know, your weights haven't dropped yet, so you don't know exactly what your lineup's going to look like. But I still think Carbondale's going to be tough. Matt Organ over in Centralia, he's doing a great job with his kids. They're going to be tough. Chris Whalen over in Cahokia, he just keeps churning them out. I don't know where he keeps finding these kids. Belleville Altoff, I think their biggest issue is just numbers. And the only thing helping us out is they made that deep playoff run this year. Maybe that'll slow them up a little bit, getting ready for the season. Marion got a young coach in Brandon Page, excited coach, just ready to, he's wanting to go all the time, all year long, and the kids are buying into it. So that's one of those things. I really don't know. I don't know where we're at yet. I'm really hoping we can compete. That's my big goal right now.
Speaking of our big goal, our final question is our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. We're trying not to pin you down on this move. We're going to anyway.
No.
Yeah, wrestling, here it comes. When do you begin your Christmas shopping?
Well, actually, my wife loves to go Black Friday shopping on Thanksgiving night, and we went last year. Yeah, I know. I just gave up my man card. But,
Jeff Crow's looking around right now with big eyes. That's all I can say.
I know. But this year, we weren't able to go. Her back was hurting pretty bad, so we actually did online shopping. And so I'm sitting there across from her. We got 2 computers set up, and we're trying to find the best deals. So I guess we started Thursday, and we're actually after practice today. I'm taking my kids, and we're all going to go over to St. Louis to get some shopping done.
Very nice. Doc, of course, best of luck to the wrestlers throughout the season. Look forward to having you on again real soon.
All right, thank you, guys.
That's Sean Docherty, head coach of the Mountford and Rams wrestlers. And, of course, we'll get to a break here in just a moment, but a tough schedule from the Mountford and Rams this year, 1-0 as a team, and definitely going to hear a lot about them throughout the season as they continue to do great things. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Brian Gamber, the Waltonville Spartans, is next here on the Saturday Sports Show. Back after these.
Have you ever stopped to think about how much time we do not have during the day? Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square and Chrysler dealer at King City Chrysler, Mount Vernon. How often do you forget to make that phone call for an oil change or to schedule a tune-up? I'm excited to tell you that you can schedule your service appointments online at Ford Square and King City Chrysler. Whether the workday is too chaotic to pick up the phone or basketball practice just won't allow you to stop by, we have you covered. Log on to FordSquare.com or KingCityChrysler.com to schedule your service appointment. Or, if you prefer to hear a friendly voice, feel free to call us anytime. We've made amazing quality service unbelievably easy at Ford Square and King City Chrysler Center, Mount Vernon. You can count on us. Also, find us on Facebook and Twitter.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX. Make that WMIXsports.com. Of course, we've moved, new location for you to listen to us online. Also, check out our scores, highlights, archives, and more at WMIXsports.com. The Saturday Sports Show is presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We welcome Brian Gamber, head coach of the Waltonville Spartans. Make that the 2-0 Waltonville Spartans to the Saturday Sports Show. His team plays in the Christopher Turkey Tournament Championship tonight at 7:30 against Egyptian. Coach Gamber, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I imagine, and I for some reason seem to say this to everybody, I imagine you're doing pretty well yourself. 2-0 to start the year. You get a win over Cobden, a big win, 58-34 on Monday night. You come back on Wednesday, beat Christopher 49-41. Now you play for your first title as a head coach. You do it at Christopher, a legendary Thanksgiving tournament. I imagine the emotions are pretty high right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's been a great week so far. Wednesday was a good test for our guys. It was a big game, playing a very good team at home in their own tournament. I was very happy with the way we responded. Had a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. And this is what we wanted. I mean, anytime you can play in these big games early, it's only going to benefit you as you continue towards postseason. So it should be a great atmosphere tonight. As you said, it's been such a legendary tournament. For us to be fortunate enough to get to the championship is one thing, but playing an extremely good Egyptian team tonight is going to be a tough challenge. But I think our kids are ready for it. I think they're excited. I know I am. We're going to see what we can do tonight.
Speaking of seeing what you can do in your first two games, you had Widges and Hale. Obviously, they're going to get a majority of your ink, but seems to me you're getting some contributions from some other kids this week as well. Talk about those kids who have helped you out as well.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a lot of contributions to me. Of course, I don't get caught up in the points. That's not important to me. Matt Rogers is a guy that, as far as just points, you may say, oh, he didn't really affect the game. I feel like he was the reason we won Wednesday night. His energy, his effort, rebounding, defensively, he did a great job. They had a 6'6" kid that was extremely good. He had 2 points going into the fourth quarter. I think he finished with 8, but his last 4 were kind of towards the end of the game, just junk baskets. So right now, we've had guys step in, come off the bench. Justin Winchester has come in and get great minutes, did a lot of things defensively, took care of the basketball. Derek Wisnamp's another guy that did not score a lot in either game, but I really feel like he was one of the main reasons why we won, just because of the rebounding, the defense, being solid, taking care of it. And then when they do have their opportunities, those guys capitalize by getting to the rim, finishing, knocking down free throws, especially Wednesday night. We're 14-16 from the line, and that goes right down the line as a whole team. Definitely a huge team win on Wednesday. A lot of contributions from a lot of guys.
You don't get much time tonight. After tonight, you get this big win. Then you jump right into conference play Tuesday night with Noble at home in a single varsity game. I mean, from this standpoint, win or lose tonight, how important will it be to get your kids refocused and not knowing that conference play begins already next week?
Right. Yeah, and that's going to be tough, just like you said. If we happen to win tonight, they're going to be so excited for juice that it would be easy to have a letdown. Whereas if we get beat tonight, the same thing, they'll be down. We'll have to build them back up with the quick turnaround. The fortunate thing is we got a lot of seniors that have gone through this, had this experience. So I think they'll be ready. I think they'll understand, hey, come Monday, we've got to get a lot of stuff done. We've got to put in the work and get ourselves ready to go. And it's been good to have that short turnaround this week because they've had to kind of go through that. You play Monday, scout Tuesday, and practice Tuesday, and then come back and have a walkthrough Wednesday to get ready. Those are going to be some of the similar things that we do as we prepare Monday for Noble coming into our first conference game and getting ourselves ready to go. So I think they'll be able to handle it, and I think this tournament has been good for us to kind of prepare that way, and there should be really no change on Monday.
Well, you get this 3 games in this week, 1 next week, and then 1 game, 2 games a week after that. Does that help you a lot, being a new coach, a lot more practice time after games?
Yeah, it definitely does. We have so much stuff to get in that 2 weeks goes by so fast, and you're like, man, we still got so much to do and so many things to put in. But it is going to be nice to kind of cram these first 4 games and then get some time off practice to go back and see all the things that we need to clean up, continue to work on things to get better and better. So that time off will be huge for us to kind of see where we're at. And then once we get into it where we don't have as much practice time, that next week is going to be very important to get all of our stuff done and just clean things up. So.
Of course, Brian, now that you're a head coach, you're going to find that free time is at a premium, and that brings us to our WMIX Sports Question of the Week on social media. When do you actually begin your Christmas shopping?
I'd like to tell you that I went Black Friday shopping, but I did not. So I'm pretty bad about waiting until about 2 weeks before Christmas to try to start getting gifts for everybody.
Well, 2 weeks before Christmas is a lot sooner than I begin, so I give you credit for that. And, of course, we wish the Spartans the best of luck tonight against the Egyptian. Again, that is a game tonight for the championship at the Christopher Turkey Tournament. Good luck to the Spartans, and we will see you on Tuesday night.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Brian Gamber, head coach of the Spartans. Spartans will make their debut on the Jefferson County Basketball Showcase Tuesday night against Noble, West Richland. That'll be on WMIX FM, WMIXsports.com. Midland Trail Conference action, you certainly won't want to miss it. We will, speaking of the MTC, we'll talk with state champion head coach Shane Witzel of the Woodlawn Cardinals after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back in a moment.
Your future is calling. With a GED test and some help from Rend Lake College, you can answer the call. The current test expires at the end of 2013, and your scores will expire too if you don't finish and pass the test by then. Don't feel prepared? Don't worry, we can help. Visit finishtheged.com to learn more. Don't miss the chance to turn one small step into your next big opportunity, like college, a better job, and the respect you deserve. Finish your GED by the end of 2013. Questions? Call Rend Lake College's Adult Education and Literacy Department today at 437-5321.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, the entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Welcome to the program now. He is the defending, his team, the defending state champions in Class 1A, Shane Witzel, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. Coach, good morning.
Morning, Chris. How are you?
You know what, doing pretty good. Ready for basketball season to really kick into full gear for us, and that happens next week. You guys get started at the Okawville post-Thanksgiving tournament. Most importantly, you get to help christen a new gym on Monday night as you open up your season against Marissa Coulterville.
Sure, yeah, we're excited to go. I know our kids are chomping at the bit and ready to play, and we have a couple good practices here over the holidays, and we'll be ready to go Monday.
Lots of returners from last year's team. You only lose 2 people off that team. Tell our listeners who is returning on your team to help you out this season.
Well, starter-wise, we've got Gabe Owens, Chris Harlow, Logan Isaac, and Jason Hateman started at the end of the year, and he played a lot of minutes throughout the year as well. And we have Jake Robinson who played quite a few minutes, and Matt Kennedy as well. So that's the guys that have the bulk of the minutes returning from last year's team, and like you said, we have the bulk of them back. We lost 2 pretty good ones, but that's always the case. You know, you're always trying to build what you have around for this year's team, and so we're excited what we got back, but we have a lot of work to do, and our guys know what it takes to be successful and to get to that point, and we've got a lot of work to do, and it's a long season, and hopefully we'll continue to get better as the season goes on.
A long season out of the gate. Of course, you have the Okawville tournament next week. Then you get a few days to rest. You have Mater Day at the SIU shootout. How did that game come about? Because that's been kind of a traditional matchup between Woodlawn and Mater Day at each school.
We were full, and I was actually working on another shootout as well. So we were having a hard time game-wise. We were having to add Noble. We had the information we received that they were going to split with Clay City. So we had to add that game in there somewhere. So in the meantime, I'd gotten out of the Nashville shootout to add that game. So this opportunity come up with SIU, and we didn't have a good gap in our schedule because we had just added Flora and Carmi, and we obviously wanted to keep those games. So the idea come up that we play Mater Dei down there. It's traditionally a good team, a good program, and a good game for us, and so we're just basically changing the venue down there, and I think it's a great opportunity for both schools and a big exciting atmosphere to play a high school basketball game in.
When you look around the Midland Trail Conference, Woodlawn has gotten in 4 years now, 5 this year. When you look at the conference as a whole this year, with Waltonville returning, some other teams improving, who do you see, obviously besides Woodlawn, as a favorite to possibly win this Midland Trail Conference this year?
Well, sometimes it's always hard to tell, and you have to go off what last year's teams were like, and I think Sisney will be really good. They've got a couple of good guards back, and they got a new coach, but Adam does a good job. Waltonville coming back in the conference, they've got a lot of returning guys that are seniors that have some talent. North Clay traditionally has some good athletes, and Coach Waddles does a good job with them, and we're playing at their place, and so that'll be a competitive game. We're also playing at Sisney, so I see those 3 teams as being right there at the top, and I think that's probably the ones that are right there in the top half of the conference. But you never really know until the games get going and how all that shakes out.
I know you mentioned Matt Kennedy's name earlier, and I know he's going through an injury and recovery time right now. Any timetable set on when he would return?
We're hoping around Christmas time, possibly early January. He's doing good in his rehab, and everything's coming along real smooth. He looks good. He's doing some things to keep himself in shape, so that's a positive thing. But we're not going to rush him along or do anything to jeopardize it or re-injure it. Injuries are just part of the game, but we have a decent timetable to deal with, and we think that'll give us an extra edge when he comes back, because we're going to play anywhere from 7 to 11 or 12 games without him. So we have some other guys that's going to get some extended minutes, and we're pretty excited about those guys like Chase Phelps and Ty Coleman, and they've worked hard to do the things that we've asked them to do, and they're ready to step in and assume some responsibilities, and when we get Matt back, that just adds another weapon. So we're excited about that. Cautiously excited that we still have a lot of areas we need to improve in.
Speaking of areas, one that probably you guys have talked about as a team, I want to bring up on air, is the idea and fact that Woodlawn has been very successful the past 20, 25 years winning games. Now over the last 4 or 5 years, multiple trips to Peoria, now state champion. Have you had that discussion with your team now that, you've had a bullseye the last 3 or 4 years, but now this bullseye is even bigger, defending state champ and everything else, that you're going to get every other team's best shot every night you step on the floor?
We haven't really this year. Last year we did some, and we really tried to welcome that opportunity. And I've always told our kids, you're 16, 17 years old. If you can't play hard for 30 nights, 30 games, then something's wrong with you. Because if you really love playing, it's not all that hard to get up. We're not talking about an 82-game schedule, or so I don't see that as being an issue. But I do understand that there are nights that you see teams that you're going to have to give some extra effort and that kind of thing. But we've tried to get our guys to accept that as a positive thing. That's going to make us better. Is each and every time out, we're going to see some good competition, and we're going to have to play really well, and more importantly, execute really well. And I think that's really the difference whenever you get into the big games is how well you execute, both offensively and defensively. So, I can't say we didn't handle real well in 2010. It wasn't anything I did, but after the 2009 team, we were really tight to start the year. And that's something that we'll address in the next few days as far as, you can't really focus on the end goal. It's not February, it's November. So, we need to worry about what's right in front of us and play hard and do the things that we can control and not try to get caught up in any of that right now at this point in time. And we got a veteran group, and I don't see that being an issue. But I think they'll know how to handle that pressure. And they've been through a lot of big game situations. So I don't see that as being a negative at all. I see it as being a positive.
We have something we're going to try to get you caught up into. We have our weekly WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week, and this week's question is, when do you begin your Christmas shopping?
I don't know if I should answer that one. I'm pretty fortunate. My wife's really great at kind of taking the reins on that. And here in the last few years, it's been a little late, but what we've been doing is we go to St. Louis for a couple of days and spend the night when that lull between before the holiday tournaments get started and Christmas, and that's always kind of nice for us to get away and spend some time together and that kind of thing. But she does the bulk of it, although I have the most difficult job of all of us, and that's trying to figure out what to get my dad. You know, what do you get a guy that has pretty much anything that he wants? So you always have to be a little creative in coming up with a gift idea for him, but it's something I look forward to, spending some time with the family over the holidays.
I sense in your voice that you're giving this answer a lot of credit because somebody may be standing behind you saying, give me credit about the shopping or else. So I kind of get that jive here.
I don't know if she's even listening. Normally a lot of times she doesn't listen. I mean, we don't really talk about it much. I'm actually headed to practice and go in that direction. So we're having Thanksgiving at Grandma's today, and she's probably trying to get ready for that right now. So, but she'll probably get the word somehow, some way. She has a way of finding out how some things are said. So if I can get some extra points, that would be helpful. So
okay.
If you guys can help out with that, that would be very beneficial.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Coach, obviously we wish you the best of luck this season. Look forward to seeing you multiple times over the course of our Jefferson County Showcase schedule. Most importantly, good luck to the Cardinals on Monday night. We'll see you then.
All right, thank you, and appreciate you covering us.
That's Shane Witzel, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals. In case you did not know, defending 1A state champions. Always nice to have a state champion locally, especially in our backyard. So Woodlawn Cardinals underway on the Showcase Monday night, 7:30, 7:15. We assume will be your pregame. WMIX-FM, WMIXsports.com against Marissa Coulterville. Waltonville makes their Showcase debut the following night, of course, against Noble. We'll have that one for you as well. Plenty of games to come. You can find our broadcast schedule on the all-new WMIXsports.com. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk with Keith Welch. He is the head coach in his second year at Hamilton County. This is the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
Don't just dream about a better job. Go get it with scores of programs that take 2 years, 1 year, or even just a few months to complete. Rend Lake College is your gateway to a career you'll love. From nursing to coal mining, from computer programming to cosmetology, and everything in between. Rend Lake College is affordable, convenient, and ready to get you trained for your new job fast. Call us at 618-437-5321 or visit us at rlc.edu.
This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers Broadcasting Station.
The Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois welcomes Dr. Beth Conradi to their medical staff. Dr. Conradi specializes in comprehensive pain management using a multidisciplinary team approach by working with other specialists for optimal diagnosis and treatment of pain. Dr. Conradi will treat most conditions of the spine, including management of cancer pain. Dr. Beth Conradi, helping to make life better day after day at the Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois in Mount Vernon. Call 618-242-3778.
Hi, this is Joe Gliosi, commercial banker for People's National Bank in beautiful Mount Vernon, Illinois. People's National Bank has served local businesses and farmers for over 100 years. With a wide variety of deposit and loan products, we have all your banking needs covered. From opening or expanding a business to purchasing a farm implement for the upcoming season, People's National Bank is here to help. Stop by today and let us show you what a true community bank can do for you. People's National Bank, serving Southern Illinois farmers and businesses since 1909. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski, Mike Richardson, and Jeff Crow in studio, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Welcome to the program now. He is the head coach in his second year at Hamilton County. Coach of the Foxes, Keith Welch. Coach Welch, good morning.
How are you guys?
You know what, doing pretty good. Foxes, of course, chomping at the bit to get their season started. It'll begin Monday night at 6 o'clock at Harrisburg against BDC foes Carmi White County. Have to imagine you guys are ready to go and ready to get that season started finally.
Yeah, it's time we play a game. You know, our kids have been getting after it and working hard. I think we've had 20 practices in or more, and it's time to see where we're at right now. So
fun to see where you're at. You're in your second year. 1 year in the big seat, now your second year. What most importantly did you learn from that first year as a head coach?
I think the most important thing I learned is to be patient, especially with the stuff we're trying to do. We're trying to incorporate a lot of new things that the kids weren't used to, and it's going to take them a while to get it, and things are starting to come together a little bit, but the patience is the key.
You're in that Black Diamond Western, or I should say Eastern Division. A lot of good basketball teams at Carmi, Fairfield, El Dorado over the years, with Vienna and yourself, among others. When you look at that conference, it's been kind of a basketball powerhouse for a while, ever since it's formed. Who do you see as the favorite or favorites to win that BDC East this year?
I would definitely have to say, Johnson City's got almost everybody back, and Coach Thomas does a good job over there. Fairfield lost all their seniors, but they got a nice group of underclassmen last year, and I think they're going to be very good this year, too.
Looking at your team specifically, you open up here at the Harrisburg tournament, you go to El Dorado at Christmas, and, of course, to the traditional BIT in January. But first, backtrack, talk about some of the kids you're going to be relying on this season to help you get wins at Hamilton County.
We've got Levi Leakey back this year. He's started as a sophomore and junior also. He's a high motor kid, high energy kid that does things right defensively, and that has been his role the first couple of years. We're going to have to rely on him a little bit more this year on scoring. I've got Travis Stevens back from last year, started some games. Nathan Alsonette is a junior. He started for us last year, and Nathan's a very fundamental kid and does things right. We've got to look to a couple other juniors. Logan Billington played for us at point guard this year. Adam Kraus is a senior. He's probably going to play the 2 guard for us this year. He's a hard-working kid, like I said, really good defensive player.
Levi Leakey, has he been in high school like 20 years? Because it seems like he and Ori Taylor run that role over there very well.
Yeah, kid's got a high motor, and he just goes and goes and goes, and that's what everybody says over and over. He's still in high school, so we've also got a couple other seniors. Garrett Biggerstaff, who's 6'5". He's going to try to work the middle for us a little bit, along with River Steele.
And Biggerstaff's been there about 10 years, too. I mean, it seems like you have the same kids and names. But anyway, a schedule thing that we looked at on your schedule, you open up at Harrisburg. You play Carmi, in the regular season and conference. You're also at the El Dorado tournament. You get Harrisburg, who's also at El Dorado. We're kind of touching on this day a little bit. Your schedule kind of goes with this. With all these tournaments going on, how hard is it for Hamilton County to go out, A, and find a tournament to get in, but also, B, try to stay away from conference teams and other regular season opponents?
Yeah, that's a really tough thing that's going on with that, like you said, right now with all the tournaments. We can't find anywhere where we're not, we could see Carmi 4 or 5 times a year, every year, and that's a problem that we have right now, but, it is what it is, and that's what it's come to now, so you just got to face what you got to do.
Face what you got to do, and then at the Harrisburg tournament, you're one of the teams, you open up with Carmi, then you have Harrisburg on Wednesday, and then Saturday. With 3 games getting in, is it almost like you feel like you're kind of losing out on a game or two when you only get 3 games in a tournament?
Yeah, and that's just what this tournament's come to, I mean, a couple teams got out, and Goreville started their tournament and tried to pick up a couple teams, but it'd be nice, to get 1 or 2 more games, but that's where we're at this year, and then we'll see what happens in the future.
Okay, now I know you're worried about, obviously, head coach Hamilton County. Let's get down to the basketball business here. Where'd you go last night?
Well, I'm actually going through Louisville right now on my way back from Lexington. We went and watched the Cats play last night. So,
are we finally going to get our point guard back? Because that's the story. He's supposed to be at practice today, or what?
I hope so. It was real quiet last night about him too. I didn't hear anything, but definitely need a point guard for sure.
I mean, our defense, we need defense, too. We can't give up 74 to LIU Brooklyn and expect to do anything.
Yeah, I looked up about 3.5 minutes to go in the first half, and they got 40 points. I said, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So, defense and rebounding are something that they're not doing very well right now, and that's a problem.
Of course, Coach, as you join us more and more here on the Saturday Sports, you'll become more accustomed to our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. It's off topic. We ask it as our final question every interview. This week's question is, as a head coach, we understand your time is rather limited in the winter, which is why we wonder, when do you actually begin your Christmas shopping?
When I begin mine, I haven't even touched on mine this year. I'd say I'll probably go the night before and get all of it done.
There you go. That's a perfect way to do it. Of course, Coach Keith Welch, thank you for taking the time to join us. We look forward to having you on again so we continue to talk about the Foxes.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
That is Keith Welch again, second-year head coach at McLeansboro. Hamilton County Foxes start their season on Monday at the Harrisburg Tournament against 6 o'clock against Carmi-White County. You can hear that game on Wish FM 98.9. Some you may know it better as WISH. It'll also be on the Tri-State Boomer, WRUL 97.3 and WRUL.com. We'll take a break on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll catch up with John Kraus, head coach at Okawville. We'll talk about his team and the opening of the new gym at the new OHS. Have seen pictures on Twitter. I know we RT'd a couple of pics at WMIX Sports for your viewing pleasure. Actually, if you go to our Twitter page, twitter.com/WMIX Sports, it'll show up in the photo feed, I'm sure. So plenty more to talk about here on the Saturday Sports Show. We're in the second hour, busy hour. Glad to have you, of course, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Do you farm or operate an agriculture-based business? Then Community First Bank is for you. Hi, I'm Steve Down, Agribusiness Lending Officer at Community First Bank. With our roots firmly planted in Jefferson County, we offer the stability, strength, and personal attention that you deserve. Community First Bank wants to be your financial partner with customized products for both your personal and farm banking needs. Stop by any of our 5 convenient Jefferson County locations to see how we can help your business grow.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you aboard this morning. Busy lineup today. Of course, we recapped the Pyramid Plus with Scott Gamber, talked with Sean Docherty about Rams wrestling. We talked about Brian Gamber and the Waltonville Spartans, as well as their effort at the Christopher Thanksgiving Tournament. Previewed the season with Shane Witzel, the Woodlawn Cardinals. Just did the same a moment ago with Keith Welch of Hamilton County. John Kraus, we'll catch up with him here in just a moment on the Saturday Sports Show. The Okawville Rockets, of course, open their season at their own tournament. And, of course, I know they typically prefer the 7:30 game whenever possible, but you want to play the first game in your own gym when you debut a new one, so they're going to christen that against Valmeyer on Monday night at 6 o'clock. And those rims will be tested early and often with Valmeyer's offense.
I think if they've got a place for a shot clock in the new gym, you don't have to worry about it that first game, I'm sure.
No doubt about it. The Okawville Rockets, of course, and Valmeyer Pirates, 6 o'clock on Monday night in Okawville. WMIX will be there all week between WMIX AM and FM. Of course, Monday night, Woodlawn Marista will be on WMIX FM. Tuesday night, Cardinals will have the night off. We'll be in Waltonville. Wednesday, WMIX FM will have the broadcast of Woodlawn Valmeyer at 7:30. Thursday, on WMIX FM, you'll find New Athens Woodlawn, of course, at 7:30. And then Friday night on AM 940, you have what many assume will possibly be a championship game between the Woodlawn Cardinals and Okawville Rockets. That's on AM 940 Friday night. Of course, you can listen on your smartphone at WMIXsports.com. That's a look at your coverage of the post-Thanksgiving tournament. Busy week next week for the stations, of course. Some Lady Rams and Rams are sprinkled in on Monday, Thursday, and Friday as well. But believe it or not, WMIX Sports has no game on Saturday, December 1st. If that's not a crime in itself, I don't know what is. How can it be the first Saturday in December and none of our teams have a game? None of them.
None.
I mean, we even looked at our fringe category, which are teams that we really don't even cover, ever. But
maybe they're just smart scheduling on that regard. Maybe just getting rid of some of the tournaments, get them over with, and before conferences start, you get that extra practice day, maybe some time just to be away from things. That happens at times as well. So maybe just good scheduling on a lot of smart coaches we have in this area.
There are a lot, speaking of getting rid of tournaments, in a different sense, taking that into a different context, yes, there are some tournaments that need to be gotten rid of. However, that is going to be a topic later on here in the Saturday Sports Show. Are there too many tournaments? Chime in on Twitter. We posted that discussion for you. You've already had some responses. You can hit us up at WMIX Sports with your response. Are there too many tournaments? Should we do something about that? You can hit us up on Twitter, again, at WMIX Sports. Our social media question of the week is out there on Twitter and Facebook. When do you begin your Christmas shopping? I know personally myself, I do mine mostly online. For some people, I try to do as much local as I can as well, because I do believe in supporting the community with the locally owned businesses and whatnot. That I try to do closer to Christmas. The online I do with whatever I can do to get free shipping and get it here before Christmas, so I have deadlines for that in terms of some things. But yeah, it's nice to go into the store, see people, but not do it at a stupid time, like Black Friday at 5 o'clock a.m. or 3:30 or 2 a.m. or waste my Thanksgiving night at 8 p.m. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not ranting against the people who do that. That is for them, and that's great. Not for Hugo.
No, it hadn't me either. And my bride has insisted a few times, not insisted, but just suggested maybe I go with her at X number of hours in the morning in the AM side. I'm not going to bed and then waking up and going somewhere at that time. I'll get home at that time,
exactly,
maybe, but I'm not going out at that time. So, again, yeah, I'm very similar. I would like to wait and enjoy waiting till the last minute. You'd be surprised how many people you actually see out at that time, too. But do a little online as well, and doing it last minute. Let everybody get everything done. Nothing's picked over. These stores do a good job of stocking items and things like that.
They did it. They wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. So, yeah, just wait till that last minute. Then that way you can get all the sympathy from the people you deal with in the stores. They might wrap it for you. Oh, poor guy waited till the last minute to get this. You want us to wrap that up for you? Yeah, it'd be fine. Yeah,
ready?
Exactly.
Yeah.
July.
This is no joke.
No.
Hey, I'm telling you.
As
now.
someone who has been to DC's house a time or two in his lifetime,
July.
He has multiple seating, and by September, good luck finding a seat.
August this year was wrapped.
And now, in all seriousness, for Kids for Tots and things like that, I will do. Not
sure,
personally for ourselves, but I do that year round for Kids for Tots and stuff, Toys for Tots and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah, that's not different. But personally and family-wise, it is at the less possible moment.
But that is our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. Check it out, Facebook and Twitter. You can also find access to those online at WMIXsports.com. We welcome to the broadcast head coach of the Okawville Rockets, John Kraus. Coach Kraus, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
You know what, doing pretty good. Of course, you guys open your season with a new gymnasium on Monday night at home against Valmeyer, the Okawville post-Thanksgiving tournament. Are there some nerves, some excitement kind of being generated right now, knowing that the opening to the new gym is going to happen in 2 days?
Well, I think there's definitely excitement. We had our scrimmage last week, Sunday night, I guess it was, just a little meet the Rockets type thing, and probably one of the biggest crowds we've had in a while. So I don't know if it's just kind of nosy people, what it is, but no, we're excited. It's a beautiful facility. I think it's one of the best around, and I think people when they come are going to be surprised at what a small little town has come up with as far as a gymnasium, and not only that, but a brand new school that has just really been great for our student body.
Moving from Luchtefeld Gymnasium to this new facility, how much of a home court advantage, if any, do you think might be lost from the cozy, quaint gym to this new facility you're going to be playing in now?
Well, that's a great question. That's probably the drawback. We'll see. Hopefully we get big crowds, but it will not be like it was in Luchtefeld Gym, I don't think. It's just so much bigger and more vast, more room, that kind of thing. But I think it's one of those things we're just going to have to, try to do the best we can to win a lot of basketball games, put a good product on the floor, and try to get, the people to keep coming out. And the more people we can get in that facility, the louder it will be. I don't think I think we'll definitely lose some of that, some of the noise and the loudness and that type of thing. But, from a practice standpoint, and for probably some of the officials when they get in here, they're going to love it.
Yeah. Speaking of the good product, your team's always been very good over the past decade or so now, and the Okawville Rockets, again, looking to be good this year. Talk about some of the kids you have returning that you're going to rely on this year.
Well, probably our number one player is Jeremy Wakey. Jeremy was our, second leading scorer last year, about 15 a game, and He's really worked hard on his game. I think he's going to be one of the better players in Southern Illinois for sure. Not only that, but maybe in the state, as far as small school basketball. He's really difficult to defend. He's really shooting the ball a lot better than he has, which will, really make the defense really struggle to guard him. He's grown. He's probably 6'3.5", 6'4". So he's stronger. So he's going to be a big part of our offense. And then we got another returning starter. Our other returning starter is Jacob Romar, who's been playing since he's been a freshman. And I think this is going to be kind of his coming out year. Last year I think he averaged 7 or 8 points a game. We had a lot of guys last year that could score for us, and Jacob didn't have to score as much. This year we're going to rely on him to score a little bit more for us, and I think people are going to find out that this kid's going to be one of the better point guards in Southern Illinois as well. And so we got a good start, with 2 returning players that are going to be, on most nights, 2 of the top players on the floor, if not, better players on the floor. So it's a good start. And then from there, we got to just fill in around those guys a little bit, with some guys that did play a little bit last year. Jake Hensler played a little bit last year, about 6'3", swingman, and Connor Oldmeyer is about 6 foot, little off guard, who played for us last year at times. Zach Yaling's a post player, about 6'2", did not play really hardly any varsity at all last year. So, those guys are going to have to fill in, around those guys. And, I think it's going to be one of those things for us where it's going to be, maybe not the prettiest thing in the world for a little while, but, once we get to, between Christmas and that Benton tournament, somewhere in there, maybe we'll start hitting our stride a little bit where the guys are used to playing at the varsity level a little bit more. And so it may take a little more time. Last year we were just right out of the gate and almost peaked too soon. Really, if we look back on it, we might have just peaked a little too soon. We came out playing really well and struggled towards the end of the year. So, maybe this year we can turn that and flip that around a little bit.
Looking to Okawville, one of the last bastions of independent schools. You're not affiliated with a conference. We're kind of talking about having tournaments and games and scheduling and everything. How tough is it year to year for you as an independent school to be able to schedule games on a consistent basis with schools?
Well, it's not been too bad. For us, and I think going back to the point that you made earlier in our conversation about, our program and what Coach Lichtenfeld, started years ago and what we've tried to continue, that helps us. A lot of schools want to play us. Feel like we put a pretty good product on the floor most of the time, and so that has helped. And now I will tell you that with the tournaments starting up and more tournaments, and teams, not playing as many regular season games as you can, has hurt us a little bit. It's a little bit more difficult, a little bit more tight. I tell you where we run into a problem a little bit is the last couple of years we've played in some shootouts, and when you get in those shootouts, you got to get rid of a team, sometimes to fill those spots, and then whenever you get out of those shootouts, you got to find teams again. So it's not been terrible yet, but I can definitely see down the road where it may be, one of those things where we gotta really pay attention to, stay ahead of it 3 or 4 years down the road, and that's what we try to do. But for the most part, our schedule hasn't changed just a whole lot through in the last 20 years. We still play pretty much the same teams as we always have, and we got good relationships with those schools. They like coming here, and we like going to their place. We travel pretty good with our fans. I think that really helps. Schools want to bring us in because we tend to bring good crowds, and so we haven't had too many problems really as far as scheduling goes.
I got to ask this off topic. Yesterday, driving down the road, listening and going to different places, and yesterday, a guy you're familiar with, Aaron Tebby, made his radio debut. Did you know he was on the radio yesterday?
I did not. Well, what station would put him on the radio?
Apparently one of ours was dumb enough. So
he was doing Lady Rockets basketball yesterday on Nashville station.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, good for him. I did not know that. I knew he was going over to watch the game a little bit yesterday. I didn't make it over there. We had practice at the same time, but I did not know that he made his debut on the radio. I know he got beat, so maybe that's probably his last and final outing on the radio since he didn't bring home a victory, maybe.
Yeah.
Coach, our final question is always off topics. The WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. We know with winter coaches, obviously not a lot of time, not a lot of free time for any coach, but especially right now with Christmas shopping going on, the Christmas season, the holiday season. When do you begin your Christmas shopping?
Well, that's a year-to-year thing with me. Most of the time, it's like 2 days before if I get lucky. Sometimes I have to take a morning off of school and like a half a day, sick day or something to go shop. But no, it's one of those things where the internet has really come in handy lately. Get on that internet a little bit and find some stuff online and do those sort of things. But I'm not a Black Friday type person or anything like that. But no, you're right. We spend a lot of time in the gym and don't see our families very much this time of year, so that makes it really difficult. But the internet has really helped. That has really helped me a lot because I'm not a shopping guy. I don't go to shopping malls too often.
Sounds good. Coach, we'll see you throughout the week. Next week, of course, at your Okawville post-Thanksgiving tournament. Good luck to the Rockets in 2012-2013.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. That's John Kraus, head coach of the Okawville Rockets, Okawville native, of course, and coach of that program. Done great things over there in northern and western. Actually, more north Washington County. Trying to get my Washington County bearings here real quick. Anyhow, we still have Ron Winemiller, Jeff Lonnon to come on the Saturday Sports Show. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital, and, of course, it's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
The state of denial is a drag and a trial. When I bought my cheap insurance, should have known this day would come. Now I've had an accident and I'm feeling quite alone. Called them at least 20 times, but they won't pick up the phone. Without personal service, my policy's kind of worthless. Get to a better state, State Farm.
Don't deny yourself to call an agent. Tony Wolf in Mount Vernon, 242-1421.
Hello, my name's Richard. When my wife had a heart attack, every second felt like an eternity. I wasn't thinking about what hospital had outstanding results or first-class facilities. All I cared about was getting her help fast. Thankfully, I didn't have to think about those things. The ambulance took us to Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. From the second we were admitted, I knew she was in great hands. My wife was immediately treated by an experienced cardiologist. I have no doubt the folks at Good Samaritan saved my wife's life that day. It wasn't until later that I realized Good Samaritan ranks 20% faster than the national average in response time. And they work directly with the prestigious Open Heart program at Washington University. In 2013, Good Samaritan will be opening an all-new regional health center, making their heart care even greater. We're thankful that such quality care exists right here in Southern Illinois.
Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
I know you've heard about mortgage rates being all-time lows, but have you done anything about it yet? Hi, I'm Rick Pigg, mortgage lender at Community First Bank. There's never been a better time at buying a home or refinancing an existing mortgage. The sooner you act, the more you save, and we'll be there to help you through every step of the way. For more information, visit us at comfirstbank.net or stop by one of our 5 locations.
Community First Bank with locations in Mount Vernon, Woodlawn, Dix, and Ina. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bring it. And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Glad to have you, of course, courtesy of Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski, Mike Richardson, Jeff Crow, all in studio for you here on WMIX. Glad to have you. Of course, very privileged to have our next guest. Of course, loves to be on the Saturday Sports Show, we understand. It's Ron Winemiller, head coach of the Benton Rangers. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
How's the Thanksgiving holiday for you?
It was great. It was great. Quick trip to Kentucky, and now back practice yesterday and practice today. Get ready to play next week.
Speaking of that, getting ready to play next week, you played at DuQuoin for many years, got out of that, beginning this year in Goreville. Talk about the move from DuQuoin to Goreville as to why that went on.
Well, I got a full disclosure. Todd Tripp and I are very good friends. And, when I first got here, the DuQuoin tournament was a very stable tournament. And, after my first year, they had some defections, and just through some conversations, it was pretty obvious that they were going to have some more defections. And I talked to Mr. Campbell, that DuQuoin tournament's great. I mean, I have no ill feelings about them. I'm not upset, but I just said, hey, I'm in no way wanting to play a 3-game tournament. And and he assured me it would be back. Well, last year it was back, but I knew that Waltonville was getting out. I I heard K-Row was going to get out. I knew there was some defections coming out, and we just didn't. I was just really unsure as to the direction the tournament was going to go. Todd was really working hard to put this thing together at Goreville, and I told him, I said, if you can get 5 teams, we're if you can get 4 in us, we're in. And he said, okay, and he did, and you know, I just really made the move simply because I just felt the DuPont tournament was just a little bit unstable.
Looking at your team, when you made that move, and I know football going on, and football's had a second-round run the last 2 years, was it important for you to get that tournament in the second week of the basketball season rather than Thanksgiving week because of the football situation?
Well, I know when this was first, being discussed, anytime you start a tournament, if you know the guy that's putting it on, you kind of got a little say in it. And the reason why Johnson City made the move was to get away from some of their conference teams. And also, Wade told Todd, said, if this is the week of Thanksgiving, we're not interested. He said, I want to get away from that. And he told me, he said, you don't want to play Thanksgiving week. He said, it's a nightmare. He said, especially for football doing what it's doing. And he said, football doing what it's doing for us here. He said, we don't want to do that. So Wade was the guy that really pushed to keep it that second week. And I don't think I would have agreed to have gotten in and had it been a week earlier. Just not enough time to get ready if you do anything at all in football. And the way it turned out for Goreville this year, I'm sure they're glad that they put it where they did.
It sounds like the Potsdam Conference broke out between all the names we're throwing around setting this thing up.
Yeah, there was a definite brain trust, if that's what you want to call it. But the big thing that I told Todd, and you and I have talked about this, and so Chris and I, you guys know how I feel. I do not like playing the same team 15 times. I don't care if they're a good team, a bad team, whatever. Why some teams, and this is other guys' prerogative, why you would get in a tournament where you're going to be locked in with a conference school that you could see at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and your midwinter. I just don't understand why you want to play people 4 or 5 times a year. And that was my big thing. I said, if we're going to do this, I want it to be people we don't see. And really, with the exception of maybe seeing Johnson City or Anna in the regional, which you can't control, we have no possibility to see any of these teams. And that's the one thing that I really liked about it, and I really lobbied and pushed for.
All right, pushing and lobbying for the last 2 years, your Benton Rangers have been regional champions, losing to 2 teams, one that got second in state, one made to the Super. Lost a lot of basketball talent the last couple of years. What do the Rangers look like in 2012, 2013?
We're different. We're really different. I think the big thing about those guys last year was we had a lot of the same guys. Long, lanky, athletic type players. We didn't have a true post player. Childers at maybe 6 foot. He was a great player. We'd love to have him back, but as far as having a pitch it in there guy and he turn around and score, he had to do a lot more with this athleticism. So we're bigger this year. I feel like maybe we're a little bit stronger as a team. We're not as athletic maybe as we were last year, but I think that we really we have guys that fit roles much better than we did last year. So I like this team. I don't know that this team is really where it needs to be right now to play. I think we probably, if we could postpone all our games till Christmas, I think we'd be okay. But we're going to be a lot better if we stay healthy. We're going to be a lot better in January than we are in November. And I think that's what you want with any team. But we're going to be a lot different, and we're going to build it around kind of two corner posts in Cole Forby and Dalton Ward. Those guys played a lot last year. And then Ethan Hughes is our other post kid. He's probably one of the smartest kids I've ever coached. He reminds me, of a throwback kind of guy. He always gets people where they need to be. And then our point guards, Cameron Rock. Cameron's got some big shoes to fill, and we told him we don't expect him to be Cody Smith. Just be the best Cameron Rock you can be, and do what we ask you to do, and you'll be fine. And the kid has really come on for us this year. To be honest with you, if he was playing this year if he was playing last year like he is this year, he probably would have cracked our rotation in Nathaniel Higgins. He's gotten so much stronger and really seems to have that extra burst that he did not have last year.
Of course, Ron, I know a busy day for you as you get prepared for the season to get underway on Monday night, or actually for you on Tuesday night. But WMIX Sports social media question, it's something you became somewhat familiar with last year. This week, our social media question is, when do you begin your Christmas shopping?
Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna throw things into a curve. Whitney's in school right now getting her master's. We did the vast majority of our Christmas shopping when we were on vacation in June. So
June?
that way we didn't have in
You
June.
beat Zerwinski.
You beat me because I didn't start till July.
Yeah, we did it in June, but then just yesterday she made this quote. She said, "We don't have anything for anybody for Christmas." I said, "Well, we do in June then for 2 days on vacation." So she said, "We bought us a bunch of stuff for your daughter." So at least Mason's going to have a good Christmas.
That's
I don't know
right.
about anybody else, but she's going to have a good Christmas.
You know what? In the grand scheme of things, as far as the secular sense of Christmas, that's really all that matters anyway. Ron, we appreciate you for taking the time to join us. Good luck to the Rangers this season, and enjoy Goreville.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Look forward to being on with you guys. We probably got another 10 or 15 minutes because I think Jeff's on next, and the odds of him being out of bed this early 2 days in a row is probably not great, and you can tell him I said that.
Well, my guess is that the phone is on silent, definitely.
Yes.
So
you might get a call back.
Yeah, we may.
Yeah, hey, we don't practice till 10, so if you guys need me for a few more minutes, I'll be happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Hey, because we're touching on the topic of are there too many high school basketball tournaments? So
as well as teams,
and everything
do
else.
They need to change because they're going to be in 3A next year? You know, those types of things.
That's my, when I'm commissioner for a day, I told when I come on and be commissioner for the day, that's part of my topic, so I can't get into that right now.
We understand, Ron. Thank you, and good luck on
Hey,
Tuesday
thanks,
night.
guys. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. That's Ron Winemiller, head coach of the Benton Rangers, friend of the Saturday Sports Show, of course. And, yeah, I mean, talking about our tournaments and whether or not there are too many, that is one thing. There are teams that have jumped and then jumped up a class. You look at Massac County going to Vienna this year to play a bunch of 1A schools and a couple of scattered 2As. They're 3A now, left a tournament that was perfect for them with a bunch of 3A schools. And there's a team in 2A this year that jumped to a new tournament from a 2A tournament. This tournament has 1A and 2A schools. They're probably going to be 3A next year. We're not going to name that school, but you can probably do the math. This is a Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We're going to try to give Lonnon a ring-a-ding and see if we can talk about the Nashville tournament. Lady Rams 3-0 in pool play. They win their pool, play Nashville tonight for the tournament championship. Coach Lonnon looks for his 200th overall win. Not at Mount Vernon, but overall. We'll talk about that when we return. Back after these.
Select a checking account that pays you interest. People's National Bank introduces People's Select Checking. It has all the services you have come to expect from People's National Bank. Unlimited check writing, Visa check card, online banking, and bill pay. And you can earn 0.17 annual percentage yields on balances over $1,000. Visit me at 413 South 34th Street to start earning interest on your checking account.
People's National Bank, member FDIC, $100 to open. Rate may change after account opening. APY is accurate as of October 16, 2012. Fees could reduce earnings on account. Non-usage fees may apply.
What do you look for in a full-size pickup? Hi, Roy Schmidt Ford dealer, Ford Square, Mount Vernon. Here are some hard facts to think about. The 2013 F-150 can tow a heavier trailer and haul more cargo than any of its competitors. The F-150 has fully boxed frame that's the foundation of all this great capability. And it's engineered and tested to withstand more punishment than you could ever subject it to. The F-150 is built Ford tough to come through with the capability you expect in this full-size pickup from Ford, day in and day out. Right now you can save $5,500 on a 2013 F-150 Crew Cab 4x4 when you finance through Ford Motor Credit. Come see one of our sales representatives about an F-Series or any vehicle new or pre-owned at Ford Square, Mount Vernon, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, or visit us online at fordsquare.com.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show. You know the old saying, all bets were off, well, all bets were on. We'll try to catch up with Jeff Lonnon here in just a moment on the Saturday Sports Show. Lady Rams, hot start to the season, 3-0 at Nashville. They got a big win, 40-34 over Okawville on Monday night. That game was actually tied at 34 at one point. Lady Rams closes out with a 6-0 run. We got to witness yesterday in the morning session a big win over Mascouda by 20-plus points as the Lady Rams get, I believe, 67 in that game, too shy of the tournament record, which is 69, set a few years back. So the Lady Rams are off to a hot start. The offense has been pretty hot. Haley Lockhart, I believe, leading scorer, of course, for the Lady Rams. She had 25 in the game we did yesterday, but she led all scorers last night as well. Leah Palmer has done a phenomenal job over the course of this tournament, really picking up the hustle and the shooting as well. But all of the starting five, including Kelby Kuyava, Claire Ryan's done a nice job at point, filling in for the graduated Cheyenne Piper, and then Hannah Owens in the post is showing that she plays much older than just a sophomore. So we'll talk about that with Jeff Lonnon, and he's here. He's on. Jeff Lonnon joins us now on the Saturday Sports Show. Coach, good morning.
Chris, how you doing?
Pretty good. Phone on silent?
Yeah.
That's what I figured. That's what Winemiller said, too, just a second ago.
Yeah. Winemiller was our backup plan. He told us we could call back again if you didn't answer.
Well,
he was just looking for time on the radio, though. You know that.
If my phone were on ringer, I would probably never get any peace.
Well, that makes sense.
It goes off quite a bit. So I've learned to kind of just shut it down and, be a little more selective. But you guys are definitely on my top 10 list, so I'm all about that. I answered.
Well, luckily with the iPhone, we know to call you back 2 times within 3 minutes, and it'll cut through that Do Not Disturb. Or do you have the Do Not Disturb setting? We've talked about that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do, but it's not engaged.
Oh.
Right,
that'd be a wise decision. In case there's ever an emergency, somebody tries to call 2 times in 3 minutes, they can get right through to Jeff Lonnon when they need him.
And only you know that, Hugo.
I know.
And now most of the state of Illinois and online around the world as well.
Well, but there's that. There's always that. I mean, it's not like it's dirty laundry. It's fairly clean, some gain, whatnot. But anyhow, Lady Rams are 3-0 to start the year. You got the Nashville Thanksgiving Tournament. In pool play, you got big wins over Okawville, Mascoutah, and Freeburg. Now you battle what's become a friendly rivalry, of course, between you and Wayner, the Nashville Hornets tonight. Also looking for a personal milestone with win number 200 for your career. I'd say it's a pretty big night for Lady Rams basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big night for the girls for sure. I mean, this is kind of the position we want to be in when we play these things. We want to be playing for championships and trophies and things of that nature, and we put ourselves in position now to go play, and that's the goal. I mean, now you just got to let the cards fall where they will, and look back and say, win, lose, or draw, you put yourself in a position to win a title. So, we're looking forward to it, and we know that the task is huge. The team we're playing is if you don't know about Nashville and girls basketball, then you're probably not been paying a whole lot of attention to girls basketball the last 15 years. So you just got to go over there. It's on their floor, and we're looking forward to it, but we know it's going to be really, really difficult.
Looking back at yesterday, I would tell you I was very impressed the way your team came out ready to go in that 8:30 game, which is difficult for any team, any level, play that early, but also to come back and play very well at 4 o'clock. How happy were you and your coaching staff to see your team do that with 2 games yesterday at very difficult times to play?
Really happy because, we played so well at 8:30, especially offensively, that, you think, well, maybe we just kind of made all our shots for the day at 8:30. We're going to struggle at 4. But, it really wasn't the case. I mean, we came back out and almost scored as many as we did in the morning. And that's really good. That's a good sign. But, the thing is now, we saw zone a lot yesterday. And when you see zone, you get more looks. And when you get more looks, and you make more shots and you get more shots and you score more points, assuming they go in. That's what happened yesterday. Now today's going to be a whole different deal. We're going to see hard man. The looks we got yesterday won't be nearly as many and nearly as often. So, it's just the whole nature of this game will be completely different than the nature of the last 2 we played. Okawville played pretty hard man. We only scored 40 there. So it's just, it's basketball. It's just scheme, and everybody plays different. And yesterday we saw a lot of zone and made a lot of shots. So I certainly. We're not going to see 65 points today. I can promise you that from either team. I don't believe. So it's going to be more of a grinded out possession. I would say a game in the 30s or 40s. If it's more than that, then I think we're probably in trouble. As far as playing them, they're just. I think they're averaging giving up about 20 points a game right now. I mean, they'll try at 11 I think last night Massac got about 20, 25 on him yesterday. I think Collinsville get last night about 20, 25. I didn't get the final because the radio faded out on me, but I know it was like 13-2 at the end of the first quarter. So, their defense is tremendous, and we know that, and we've got to just equal them on the defensive end and keep it down as low as we can in the scoring column for both teams.
Looking from here, 3 tough games, actually 4 tough games this week, then a couple next week. You jump into conference play right out of the gate Monday night, and then a home game against St. Anthony on Thursday. It's not a very easy stretch for your team to have this many games in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Not really, no. And the thing is their legs are really not in game shape. We scrimmaged quite a bit, I think, in practice the last couple of weeks. But, you can't really imitate that kind of competition in practice. I mean, we don't. When you're scrimmaging your JV team, there's just no way that you can mimic a varsity team in scrimmage. It's rougher, it's more physical. I know after Okawville, 3 out of 5 starters had, one had a really, really sore knee, one had a really super sore ankle, and the other one had a super sore hamstring and groin. So, that was just one game. And then when I tried to bring them back in and practice them on Tuesday and it was Wednesday, we couldn't hardly go, more than just walk through or jog through. So we really needed Thanksgiving just to get over that one game. It was kind of. I told them, I said, we got about 30 of these to go. We look like we've played 30 already after that one game, and so it was just a deal where they're not in game shape yet. They're not in varsity game shape. They scrimmaged quite a bit in practice leading up to the season, but until you get out there and play varsity teams, it's just a different deal. So we just got to suck it up. We sucked it up yesterday pretty good, I thought, and that was encouraging. And the schedule is what it is, and we welcome it. We think we got a great chance to. Outside of tonight, I know we talked about tonight. We got a great opportunity tonight to win a championship. But then we got Cahokia on Monday, which we feel like we got a great chance. Then we got St. Anthony, where we think we got another great chance. So, we got a great chance to get off to a really super start here.
Well, and a great chance indeed. And Lonnon, it certainly seems like some of the concerns going into this season really haven't been concerns thus far in the early going. Yes, it's a long season. There's going to be ups and downs, but Claire Ryan's done a great job filling in the tremendous void left by the graduation of Cheyenne Piper. Haley Lockhart has continued her scoring ways. In the post, it feels as if Hannah Owens is playing better than, playing older than just a sophomore. Aaliyah Palmer, there were a few times yesterday that she shot 3 balls that just missed, glanced off the front of the iron, whatever. She was right there in the post getting the rebound. And credit that maybe to some holes in the defense from the other team, or credit that to a lot of hustle. Kelby Quiava was right there knocking down some shots that you need her to do game in and game out. It just seems like any 5 you have out there on the floor have really started to gel for you early in the season.
And I think the bigger thing is they can all score. This is the first team I've had at Mount Vernon where, all 5 of them are threats to score. And that just makes it so much more and just easier. It's just completely easier. The other thing that makes it easier is we finally have an inside post presence where we don't have to play Haley inside at 5 foot, let's face it, what is she, 5'9"? She's not a tremendously big, South 7 post player, prototype, in which we had to put in there last year. So we've got a prototype center and a 6-footer in Hannah Owens that we can throw in there now in the middle, who, by the way, forget how many points she scores or doesn't score. Unofficially, I had her at 13 rebounds last night in that nightcap. And, that's 13 rebounds we're probably not getting last year, and that's 13 more, I can't break that down offensively or defensively because I haven't done all the stats yet. We were just kind of counting. We thought she had 13, she may have 14 or 15, but you can't replace that. And see, against Nashville tonight, this is what is going to really hopefully show in terms of our performance compared to the past. In the past, we could not rebound against them. You know, you got Rennegarby and Hari and Brown are all such physical rebounders, and we just have not been able to literally jump that high and get position on those kids because they're so strong with our kids in the past. And, you know, Hannah Owens is a huge factor, you know, not only tonight, but any night, because she's killing possessions for the other team when she gets defensive rebounds. And she's giving us stickbacks and extra possessions on the other end when she gets the offensive rebounds. That's a component we've never had since I started. So, you know, there again, there's a second thing, you know, it's the ability to score by all 5 kids, the inside presence of a post player that we haven't had, you know, for the last 3 or 4 years. And then finally, the defense. I mean, you know, the defensive challenge I put on Coach Bolt, and he has turned those kids into a much better defensive team this year than they've ever been. And that's the kind of challenge I issued him back when he just became our assistant coach. And you know, he's meant a lot to that. I mean, he's a big part of that. So we got a better defense. We got an inside-outside presence finally. And then we got 5 kids who can finally throw it in the basket, all 5, you know, instead of just 2 or 3 or 1. So that's the reason why we're better, I think, so far. Now we got to stay healthy, and you know, there's a lot of intangibles that go into all this. So you know, we just can't say, okay, we're just good now and we're going to win, because I've been around long enough to know things can go south fast. So we just got to take it one game at a time. And hopefully, you know, and I think in the end, if it just stays the way it is now, we'll have a really, really nice year.
Well, definitely, and certainly looking forward to bigger and better things. The WMIX Sports Social Media question of the week this week, Lonnon, I know you look forward to it, is when do you begin Christmas shopping?
Oh.
Well, because, you know, you're in a gym, you got a lot going on, it's winter, it's tough to get out, tough to get things done.
December 24th.
That's kind of what I figured. Nothing wrong with that. That's about when I start.
I'm not kidding. That's usually when it hits me that I got to go Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
You know, I take it a day at a time here, Chris.
Well aware that's all anybody can ever do or ever ask for. But Lonnon, big game tonight against Nashville, 8 o'clock, 7:45, of course. The pregame tonight on WMIX FM. Good luck to the Lady Rams.
Yeah, thanks. And I hope we have, you know, anybody that comes out and watches the girls tonight, be nice. If you're not doing anything, I know they would appreciate it. And it's a big night for them there. I'm excited for them, and I appreciate you guys doing the games throughout the week too. I know you guys have been stretched thin with the 2 tournaments going on, but I once again just want to say thank you guys for that, and Ashley too.
Well, do me a favor, take Wayner fishing, and see if you can't get that thing bumped back a week or something.
We had discussions about that last night. I think we're okay for next year. I think we'll at least maybe get to 10 o'clock, not the 8:30. So I think he understands it wasn't me that was so mad. I think it was more like my mother. My mother doesn't like it when I got to take off in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner and go back home and get ready for a basketball game. But I think he got the message. No, Wayner, he's okay, and you know, that's just all part of being in a tournament. You know what I mean? You know, you get assignments sometimes you don't like, and I can tell you this just real quick. The one thing that tournament managers hate is when somebody calls and says, I can't play in the time slot that you assigned me. And especially if they do it last minute. I hate that, and I just don't want to be one of those guys. And because he said, you know, you should have just called me. You should have just called me. But I said, no. I said, it's all good. You know, you got to take the good with the bad, and that's just part of, you know, just the whole deal. And, you know, I won't mention any names, but I know there's, in a girls' tournament here recently, the team called ahead of time, like a 1 week, gave them 1 week's notice and canceled. And, you know, that's just not good. You know, you take what you get. If you get the 8:30, you go play. If you get the noon, you go play. If you get the 8 at night, you play. You just go. So we're all good. And Wayne and I are good. I really look forward to seeing him tonight and coaching against that fine Nashville team. And whatever happens in the end, we're still going to be good. And I'll still take him fishing.
There you go. Get that done. Lonnon, good luck tonight.
Thanks a lot, guys.
That's Jeff Lonnon, head coach of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams. And I just more so was hoping they'd go fishing and get that thing bumped back the week before for selfish reasons, obviously for coverage sake. But other than that, it's a great tournament they have there in Nashville, and should be a good one tonight between the Lady Rams and the Nashville Hornets. It'll be on WMIX FM and WMIXsports.com, 7:45-ish, your pregame for that. course, we need to take one more break. We'll come back, give you our rant about tournaments. Are there too many? Chime in on Twitter at WMIX Sports. If you want to post them on Facebook, that's fine too. We'll be back after these here on the Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
How does Dale's Harley-Davidson in Mount Vernon stay the longest-running Harley dealer in Southern Illinois? How about free pickup and delivery and being the home of the $29.95 oil change? Plus, get financing as low as 1.5 APR, along with the best selection of certified pre-owned Harley-Davidsons. So now you know how Dale's Harley-Davidson stays number one. Dale's Harley-Davidson, open every day but Wednesday, just off of I-57 in Mount Vernon. Visit dales-hd.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
When an emergency happens, time is everything, and you don't want to spend that time in a waiting room. So choose Crossroads Community Hospital with our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. The entire team is committed to working diligently to have you initially seen by a physician, physician assistant, or nurse practitioner within 30 minutes of your arrival. When minutes matter, choose the ER that doesn't waste time. Choose Crossroads Community Hospital. Visit crossroadscommunityhospital.com/faster to learn more. If you are experiencing a medical emergency, call 911.
And we welcome you back to Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. So glad to have you as we, in our final few minutes today, 54 past the hour, 6 till the top. But we were talking about tournaments and conference tournaments and midwinter tournaments and fall tournaments and things of that nature, and whether or not there are too many. And we posted that on Twitter, and I think, the basketball fans think, well,